Alright, so I got another one for you. This is a non-irrigated yard, and they do water as much as they can. You can see a sprinkler set up there, and you can see a sprinkler set up there, and they got them all around the yard. And most of the yard looks in good shape. Nice and thick. The grass is cut a little too short, but I think that's one of those cases where that's as high as their mower will cut, so they have to do what they can do. But like the video the other day on the grading, you can't really see it, but what this is a septic system where their septic lines run. Now, I know city folks have a different septic system, but when you're out in the country, the house gets its individual tanks put underground when they're building the house. Well, those tanks run in these green spots. And what it is, they leach out into the ground. You poop, you pee, it flushes, it comes out here, and then it holds it in this tank. And to my knowledge, I think it slowly oozes out over time and goes into the land. I think that's the way it works. But regardless, those tanks are in these areas right here. That's why those areas are so green and this isn't. Well, the other problem is the grade. This goes back to the yesterday video. It humps like this, up and down, up and down. So these brown areas that are stressed out, they're sitting up on a knot like that. So the grass gets cut way shorter on this knot, because chances are, looking at his mowing pattern, he mows it this way, like that. What's the fix for this? I don't know. Maybe try mowing it this way. That way, when you're mowing, the mower deck is up on a more level ground. Instead of doing this number, it's staying flat, and maybe straddle these areas. So maybe the tire will be on two of the high spots and keep the deck up. Because if you put your tire down in the dip, of course it's going to shoot at an angle like that, and then you're really going to scalp that down. So we see this. It's not a whole lot. I mean, it has to get, if you had a perfectly nice flat yard and you have this system in your back, it has to get really dry and hot to burn out the middles. And if that's happening, the whole yard's going to stress. But you'll still have these green strips in the yard. So that's what that is. It has a steady, constant supply of nitrogen and moisture. That's why you get those strips in the yard. Those are your poop strips, is what you can call it. All right, so we're making an attempt here. We're watering. Still got a little heat stress. It's just, in a yard this size, it's about 20,000 square feet, 23,000 maybe. Here's another irrigation head. Well, sprinkler head. That's not irrigation. That runs off a hose pipe. He's got timers and all set up. You can see this stress on this hill. I mean, it's hard to stay on top of the water when it gets this hot. It's almost, you're watering it enough to keep it alive. But this is what I wanted to show you. Mowing. Does it really make a difference? Does it actually make a difference to mow the yard correctly? Of course it does. Well, you can see here I'm in a swale. Look at that heat stress on the roadside there. That's a Bermuda yard, and it's actually got a little bit of color left in it. You see this swale. Well, the best way to mow these is very carefully, because in swales and dips, your mower deck tends to drop down and skin and scalp. And you can see these areas right here. Let's see if I can get down right here and show you. Look at that. Look at the difference in the height where it was skint down. And then when you stand up, you can see that burned area. Let me walk around it, see if I can get a better view. There you go, you can see it good right there. Look at that. So this grass is Gosh, that grass is almost 5 inches tall. That's why it's green. And this grass, look at the difference. See where my finger is? And look where it goes to, all the way down to there. Look at there. Now, let's get down here and see if we can't inspect this close. I want to show you a good example. All right, look right here. Let's see. Well, these iPhones are great, man. I've been using a GoPro to do video. I think I'm gonna start using my iPhone. It's so much clearer. All right, you can see here's the stem right here. This, you can see the stem right there, stalk, or whatever you want to call it. Well, look at that grass blade. It's not even, it might be 3/4 of an inch long right here. That's not enough gas tank. It's not enough reserve for this plant to survive the heat. Because remember, your grass blade holds a lot of the moisture, a lot of the nutrients. It holds a lot of the things it needs to help it get through the summer. So when you have a short grass blade, that means you have a low reserve. When you have a tall grass blade, you have more reserve. Look at this one brown one right here. See the brown one flopping in the wind? What that is that your root system will send an email up to the top of the plant, to the top of the grass blade, and say, hey, I need water, nutrients, because my root system is struggling right now because it's hot. The crown of the plant is struggling because it's hot. So it will call the tip of that grass blade and say, send me what you got. So it starts to send it. And that's why you see the tips. That's how you get some brown down in. Look at it, he needs to sharpen his mower blades. Man, that's another good thing right here. Look at this right here. And these iPhones are good. Look how clear that is. Well, I said it was. Look at that. Let's see if I can get the focus. See how dull that is ripped and torn? That's stressful in the turf. Keep your blade sharp. Back to the brown leaf. Where'd it go? Oh, it fell off. But anyway, that will send an email to the top of the plant. Let's see if I can find another one down in here. There's one right there. And what it does, it depletes all of the nutrients out of that leaf blade. See that brown leaf blade right there? And what happens is that it turns brown because it doesn't have anything in it to keep it green anymore. So it'll do that. Then next thing you know, it'll call from this one, and then it'll call from the other one. That's how you get a brown grass plant. So mowing ditches, focus Daniel's son. Mowing ditches, you need to be super careful with the way your mower gouges down into it. See, here's a gouge area, here's a gouge strip, there's a gouge strip. It's all in this ditch. So this may even be a good example of, you see this contour? You may want to push mow the ditch area. And then on the outsides of the ditch, maybe where it kind of levels out some, use the bigger machine. And yeah, it's a lot of work, and a lot of people are going to take that kind of time to do it because we're all rush, go, go. That's just the way life is now. And but when you're mowing your yard, man, you really got to focus and do this stuff correctly, because it all goes back to one point: is you're trying to grow a cool season turf in a hostile environment, a hot environment, and the two don't mix. It goes back to the throw a polar bear in the Sahara Desert. Don't mix, don't work. So you have to do everything you can do in your power to protect your turf during the July and August time period when it's just super hot. If you're getting rain, it's not a big deal because the water compensates for the heat. But if you're not getting the rain you need to be easy on your turf. Look here. Here's another good spot right here. Look at this. See that scalp line right there? Let's see if I can get it. Right there. And then in some cases we've seen, well, not in some, a lot of cases we've seen, goes back to the stem of the plant, the hard part of the plant right in the middle of the grass. Well, if you cut down into the stem of the plant, if you cut it that low, you've done severe damage to it, and it takes it weeks and weeks and weeks to heal back up in the right conditions. In the wrong conditions, middle of summer, it might not heal back up until you get into fall of the year and it cools down. So definitely cut that grass tall, watch the scalp areas, and you'll be much better off. Check you later.